Welcome all to the DES iRacing NextGen race here at Rockingham. This is going to be an interesting track, a tough one for these drivers out there. I'm going to be joined in the booth here with the one and only Hunter Davis, with Damon O'Brien out here doing producing. Hunter, how you doing?
I'm doing great tonight, Edwin. Looking forward to tonight's race. It's gonna be, like you said, it's gonna be a difficult track for these dudes out here tonight. I think we're gonna see a lot of loose cars on exit of corner.
Yeah, we just ran this, I believe, the other day in Xfinity cars. And, Rockingham is a track that eats up tires. So do you expect these guys to be getting tires as soon as they think they need it?
To an extent, I mean, you can easily save tires here, but you're gonna be a little further off pace than what you'd expect. So it depends on. You can see this is kind of a multi-groove track, so you can make that high line work if you know how to properly run it. So I think we'll see some different lines here, some different strategies to play this one out.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a real tough one. These guys are going to have a lot that they're going to have to be dealing with. Well, let's go ahead and get our starting lineup. Hunter, go ahead and take it away.
Starting on your pole position, you get the one of Gary Bergeron, and to his outside, the 69, Todd Perrott. Starting in position number 3, the 68 of Tom Ringer, and in fourth, the 4 of Chuck Burley. Starting in 5th position, you got the 6 car, Ryan Godfrey, who's outside that Rat Fink driver, the number 56, Mark Holloway. Starting in 7th position, you got the 57 of Chris Wagner, to his outside, 23 of Thomas Alone. Starting in 9th position, you got the 3 of Sean Dion, to his outside in 10th, 59, Matthew Tennant. Starting at 11th position, you got the 54 car of Tyler Waltz, to his outside, the 20 of Marcus Wisniewski. Starting in 13th position, you got the 63 of Craig Knoll. And some drivers who did not qualify, you got the 48 car of Max Dinda, starting in 14th. And for some breaking news, the 68 car of Tom Ringer will be receiving an EOL for this race and end of line. So look to see him driving his way from the back of the field.
Yeah, he's going to have an interesting task in front of him. He wants to get near his teammates who are all the way up in the front. Those guys work really well together. They like controlling a race, being able to see each other, and change line, watching each other. So he's definitely going to want to get all the way up to them, especially with the teammates starting on the outside front row.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing we learned here from the Xfinity race is track position is absolutely huge. This track is extremely difficult to pass. I mean, so to set up for a pass, right, you're thinking like 2-3 laps in advance, right, where you want to place your run, how you want to get it, and where you want to pull up to that guy in front of you. Because if you pull up to him at the wrong time, then you're not going to be able to complete this pass.
Oh yeah, especially with the way they have to run 1 and 2. 1 and 2 is a weird shaped corner. So I was watching them in practice, and it looks like they're doing a lot of diamonding off in that. So you really got to anticipate when that car in front of you is going to turn down to diamond off, when that car is going to push up to the wall. It's going to really determine where to go.
And it looks like the lights on the pace car are off. We're going to see it dip down to pit road right here. Look for the one of Gary Bergeron to bring us to the green flag.
He's not going to get that great of a launch. He's going to have Todd Perrott riding right next to him. Todd Perrott's going to look to sail it off into the corner. He's might be in a good position, but looks like Gary Bergeron, he's got a good run, and he's going to take back that lead position.
Looks like everybody kept it together there off of turn number 2. Looks like the 1 and the 69 are now pulling away from the 6 car of Ryan Godfrey.
We got the 20 scrubbing the wall. Looks like him, the 54, kind of went to the corner, looked for the same real estate. 20 up in the wall, keeps it straight. These cars are very tough, so that's not going to hurt him too much.
Yeah, these cars do have a lot of speed, so running them here at such a small track, it can be kind of difficult. Look to see him probably shifting gears, going from 3rd to 4th. And like I said, you already see the 69 up there running the high line, trying to figure out which line he's going to be able to make the most magic happen in.
Now, he's pretty good at saving tires, so he's definitely going to try and be fast, but at the same time, he's going to be monitoring his tires. As you can see, he's pulling up to the 1, but he's not sending... Oh, car spinning down to the inside wall.
Ooh,
it looks like the 6.
Low.
Right up in track. Looked like the 4 got a piece of that. That's going to bring out our first caution. That was the 6 of Ryan Godfrey.
And our first victim of the night of turn number 2.
We're going to take a look at that real quick. He gets into the corner just fine. He's running a consistent middle line, and he's not one of those guys diamonding off. And it looks like the car just got upset and, spun towards the inside wall.
Fortunate. It looks like there may have been a car with a little bit of damage there on the outside, but it looks like everybody was fairly unscathed in that incident. That was just a victim of too early on the throttle, and the wheel wasn't straight.
Yeah, I think he just got into the gas a little too hard, and that kind of snapped him. But that's going to allow these guys to kind of chill out their tires a bit. Looks like we got the 3 cars that all seem to get some damage right then and there, all hitting pit road right now. Actually, I think there was a 4th car down there as well.
One thing I'd look to see, so here in our Next Gen series, we do not run any sort of stage brakes. So the only brakes these guys are going to get when yellows come out. So I look to see these guys kind of use this to take a little bit of a breather and kind of get recuperated. You know, we got the initial start off the race, so now let's fall into a groove and get back to green flag racing.
Yeah, this should have got their tires up to operating temperature, so they might not be as swirly on the restart. But then again, the Rock does chew tires pretty bad, so look to them to be cautious on the restart as well.
Yeah, the restarts are really the biggest thing where you'll start to see tire wear. As long as you're not absolutely just sending it in, you won't burn the right front, but you'll definitely spin the rear tires on the restart. I'm not for sure what the track temp out there is tonight, but I'd definitely be a little cautious, roll the throttle more on the restart. Don't just jab at it or you'll blow the tires off.
Looks like the track temp's around 71 degrees, which is it's pretty cool track out there. But, you know, the Rock has such old asphalt that's not helping it either.
As we're going to start going double file here, the lights on the pace car are off, and into turns 1 and 2. We're going to start getting stacked up so we can get back going.
Yeah, not much of a change with our top 3. They're still kind of in the same running order. Outside of Mr. Mark Holloway, who did grid in P6, and he's up to P3. You got the P7, P8, and P9 all moved up as well. So some people have taken a step back, some are not. And I think they only took a step back because of that caution there.
And it looks like Ryan Godfrey is going to be our first car and only car 1 lap down. So look to see him getting this lucky dog next time we get a caution flag out here.
Yeah, he's going to be hoping for one, but he's going to have to be careful too, because if he takes any kind of bump or damage in that, he will lose that lucky dog.
And the pace car pulls off. The 1 car is going to lead us into the restart zone. And here we go, back to green flag. Oh, big jump on the outside. Looks like maybe the 1 might have not been in the right gear. 69 to Todd Perraud's going to clear him heading into turn number 1.
Yeah, that was an amazing move. It looked either like he was in the wrong gear or got just the smallest bit of tire spin and did the right thing and lifted off of it. But he's coming back on Todd Perraud towards the inside. He's battling back. He wants that position back.
Yeah, you saw him have a bit of a bobble there in turns 1 and 2. Had to get out of the throttle a little bit, but he's going to clear the 1 here on the outside. And you have a new race leader, the 69, at Todd Perraud.
Looks like Chris Wagner also took away the P3 position from Mark Holloway. So looks like we got some guys trying to make a jump off of that restart, but everybody seems to single file out now and just start logging those laps.
Yeah, that's where we're going to see the green flag runs come. Once we single file out, we start getting the field a little bit of spread out. You're going to start seeing some longer green flag runs, and we'll see how long these guys can go.
Yeah, they're doing pretty good out there. You know, these, like you said earlier, these cars have a lot of horsepower for this small of a track, and they're all doing pretty well. But it looks like they're all kind of stuck to similar lines as of right now. As we take a look back towards Tom Ringer, who's trying to make his way up through the field, he actually has not been gaining positions. He's more or less just kind of been where he's at.
Yeah, you know, this is a 160 lap race. You know, take your time. There's no rush to get to the front. I did say, you know, track position is important. However, we're going to cycle through some green flag stops, probably some more cautions throughout the race. So I look to see him slowly pulling off 1, 2 back up to the front.
Yeah, you do have to be careful because as soon as those tires start to wear, you're going to start pushing up towards the wall in the corner as well as getting loose on the exit. It's just going to get really hard to drive. So I think that's what these guys are trying to avoid is becoming that first car to lose grip.
Yeah, one thing that's interesting with the 69 of Todd Perron is he's not really veered off of that high lane. He'll kind of run the middle through 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4, he's pretty much stuck to the high lane the entire way.
Which is interesting because normally a higher line burns tires pretty bad, but he may have found something up there. That might be where he feels the most comfortable and is able to maintain his tires better. As Gary Bergeron's starting to move up there too, he's trying to get into his tire tracks and hopefully get closer to him.
Yeah, I can't really speak for the next gen cars. I did have a pretty successful race here in the Xfinity. But one thing that I did notice is 1 and 2, I was typically more successful in the bottom of the track, and then the same with Todd. I would kind of run the high line through 3 and 14, carry that momentum onto the front stretch heading back into turn 1.
Yeah, I did not have much success in this track. I'm pretty bad at this track, so it's pretty interesting to see, the difference. These guys are really good at this, and they're really handling this track well. It's what I wish I could do on this track. Because Gary Bergeron's going to look to the inside of Todd Perron now.
Yeah, it looked like he had a bad arch into that angle. I expect to see the 69 get a good run here onto the front stretch. He's going to be able to clear him. Let's see if the 1's able to get a run. That's where the 1 is definitely carrying more momentum. I noticed on the earlier the restarts, the 1 would kind of stick it to the bottom, and he would run a little bit quicker lap times than the 69.
Yeah, it looks like the 1 car has it kind of figured out in 1 and 2 just a bit better, but the 69 with that high line in that 3 and 4 makes it really hard to try and battle back and get a pass on him.
Yeah, looking throughout our field, our position 1, the 69 Todd Perron, and then Gary Bergeron has pulled off to a 2.5 gap over the 3rd place position, Mark Holloway, who completed the pass last lap on the 57 car of Chris Wagner.
Looks like these guys are pretty much just, like I said, they're trying to log those laps as the 54 is in P7, and he's got Tom Ringer actually casually working his way up there. It's not like he's chasing them down crazy hard, but he is casually getting closer and closer to that car in front of him.
He has moved up 1 position since that last restart. He was restarting in 9th, past the 20 car of Marcus Wisniewski for position number 8. Now he's looking to chase down the 54 car of Tyler Waltz for position 7.
And Tyler Waltz is also kind of looking ahead to him because he sees Thomas Long and Sean Dion about to start battling for position because they're getting pretty close to each other. And, when you get side by side and you get battling with somebody, it slows you down. And so the guys behind you are going to be benefiting from that.
Yeah, this 1 car, Gary Bergeron, has not let up a little bit. They are just driving away from the field, almost to a 2-second gap to the 3rd place position. He is just banging on the back bumper of that 69 car, wanting his lead back.
It's pretty nice watching Todd Perron have a good run like this too. He's a very strong driver. He's very patient with cars in front of him, so he never really gets a chance to flex his legs the way he knows how to. So with him out here in clean air, he's really getting going, getting in his groove, and doing what he does best.
Yeah, and like we were talking about earlier, Rockingham is a very difficult track to make complete passes on. So, I mean, looking here at the cockpit view of the 1 car, Gary Bergeron. So he's sitting in 5th gear. He'll kind of get a run up to his bumper, but you got to time that run perfectly to where you can make the pass onto the back stretch or the front stretch, respectively. The passing in the center of corner isn't typically your favored passing zone on this track.
Yeah, passing is definitely tough. Oh, as we see how passing gets tough, 54 gets into the 3. He slides, but he saves it. Tom Ringer's right there, too. And now he bumps into the 3. That was a close one there. Tom Ringer gained all kinds of positions there. 54 was about to take on the 3. But due to that, everybody let up, and Tom Ringer gets 3 of them.
Looking here at the replay of the 54 car, it looks like he washed up a little bit into the 3 car of Sean Dion. Tom Ringer has to go down onto the apron. Made a little bit of contact there with the 3 car, and he will successfully complete that pass.
Now that's some racing etiquette there from the 54. He got in the corner, washed up, tapped the 3, and then let off. He didn't slam on the brakes, so nobody ran into his back, but he let off the throttle, make sure that he wasn't causing the 3 to go all the way around, and they all get back racing. But Tom Ringer, again, the beneficiary of that. 54 is starting to head in the wrong direction now, though.
Yeah, I think I've got the 68 car Tom Ringer strategy figured out. You know, complete the passes by race attrition.
Oh yeah, he's letting people burn up their stuff, and it kind of looked like the first person to be, kind of affected by that was the 23, but it looks like it's a 54 now. He has dropped all the way back to behind Craig Knoll. He has gone all the way back to P12. He was all the way almost into P6, so I think his tires might be on the shop side.
Looks like this 69 car of Todd Perron's going to be encountering some lap traffic here soon. You got Dad Dinda driving the 48 car.
Todd Perron has kind of separated from the 1 a little bit. You know, they were within 2/10 of each other lap after lap, but now they're up to about 4/10. So it's not a crazy separation, but they do have a little bit of it going on now.
One thing to pay attention to on that 20 car that just cycled through, looks like he's got a little bit of front end damage. And you kind of got to be careful here at Rockingham. I noticed it a lot during the Xfinity race, but if you get any sort of front end damage, you'll start overheating that motor and your temps are going to start spiking. So you got to be careful not to cause yourself even more damage by blowing the engine, if that is any sort of radiator damage.
Yeah, and that was from an early race incident as he's sitting here in P6, so he's holding on strong. The thing helping him right now is he is in clean air. He doesn't have anybody directly in front of him. The next car is 2 seconds ahead of him, so he's got that gap to where it can breathe just a little bit more, but I'm kind of in the same boat as you. He's got to be concerned about those temps.
Your race leader, Todd Perront, now up to a 0.7 of a second gap over second place Gary Bergeron. You think Todd might be burning him up a little bit early, or does he just got the pace to outrun him here?
You know, normally being up there so high in the corners, you'd be one of the first cars to burn up your stuff, but I think he's got it figured out. I think he knows what he's doing right now. Gary Bergeron might have his tires a little more worn because he's had to throw it underneath Todd to try and get around him, but it looks like Todd's doing perfect. You know, he's not having any issues. 56 was able to get back past the 57 as they also have a similar gap between them as Todd has actually extended it almost to a second over Gary. So it looks like the top 4 have pretty much spaced themselves out. Your next competitor is Tom Ringer, who's 7 seconds off of the leader. And then you got this group of cars back there led by Marcus Wisniewski. You got Sean Dion, Matthew Tennant, Thomas Long, Chuck Burley, all in there, all able to vie for a position right now. The only one who I think can't is the 6 of Godfrey, who is a lap down.
Yeah, I've been checking out the 23 car Thomas Long for these past couple of laps. He's got the momentum, and he just barely seems to make contact with the wall on exit a corner, and it's slowing down his momentum a lot. He's dropped now 3 positions in the past 2 laps.
He might actually have some tire issue going on because if he's scrubbing that wall, yeah, look at those high exits right there. 6 spins again. No, he saved it. But yeah, he might have some worn out tires right now because it's hurting him on exit, especially around exit 2.
You know, if I'm in the 6 car of Ryan Godfrey, the main thing I'm looking at is just to stay 1 lap down. For the next caution that comes out, I can cycle back through, get the lucky dog wave around, and be back on the lead lap. So try to keep the car there in one piece and move on from there.
Yeah, I think he got near those cars and was like, let me try and get around them so I have more of a gap between me and the leader, but it seems to have cost him because now he's fallen back into them. As we take a look here at Tom Ringer, he is actually slowly catching the 57.
He's now got about a 1.5 second gap to the 4th place position of Chris Wagner. Slowly starting to reel him in. Looked like Chris Wagner had a little bit of damage there on the front end as well from that first caution. But looks like he's able to manage his temps and keep it out there on the track.
These guys are getting real dicey in this middle group. We just saw a car push up to the 3, but that middle group is battling hard. And actually, looking at that 57, I think that's just a part of the paint scheme, that kind of design.
Yeah, I was looking at that, and it is. It looks like there's some sort of overlay to that paint scheme. Looks really clean the way that he laid that out. It's got the white that lays around it. So good job on the 57, Chris Wagner, with that paint scheme.
Yeah, it's really good looking, and especially watching it go around track. It's a beautiful, beautiful car. A lot of these guys have really beautiful cars. One that I'm really liking is Tom Ringer's new paint scheme that he's got going on. I really enjoy that one. It's looks like Chuck Burley is getting under the 59, but the 20 car is he's kind of controlling the race for all these guys right now. They're all right up on him and need to get by him, as it looks like the 59 does, but the 4 car isn't able to.
Ford looked like he was going to give a little bit of a bump and run action, but he kind of backed out of it there.
Yeah, he does not want to cause any kind of issue that could cause him to potentially have damage. He already got caught up in that first incident with the 6, got hit in the side, so he's going to be looking to pass the 20 cleanly, but the 20 is just, that man's a rolling roadblock right now.
Yeah, the 4 is definitely trying to figure out any way around him and follow in line with that 57. He's going to try to run him high and dive underneath him. Looks like he's going to have a fender under here on the front stretch.
And the 20 was just kind of trying to maintain track position at that point. Oh, 3 into the wall hard, into the 23 as well. They keep him going straight. That was an interesting one. That again is a product of having someone in front of you that's just hard to pass. 20 car is hard to pass. These guys are having to figure out different ways to get around, and they just ultimately came together. As you see Craig Knoll getting up there.
Looking at the 68 car, Tom Ringer is now about half a second back from the 4th place position of Chris Wagner. He's slowly starting to reel him in. I look to see Tom start pressing his way up to his teammate Mark Holloway after this.
He is all over him, and he's going to the eye line. He's just going to sail by 57 now. 57 knew that was coming, got out of the way, and was like, yep, you're faster. Go ahead and take the position. So I'm seeing back here in this group, as soon as they get past the 20, they sail off. The 4 car left these guys, and he's put about 4 seconds between them. Now Sean Dion, Craig Knoll, they're making their way past. Thomas Long's now finally doing it. I think the 20 car is definitely burnt up, or that front end damage is biting him.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily think it'd be much aerodynamically inhibitive, but I think it would be more on the fact of, like, he might be running the engine a little hot. He's going to be down a little bit of power.
And it's finally
coming.
The
63 hard into the inside wall. It'd be the 63 of Craig Knoll.
He's got it down on the apron. He might have actually hurt that machine with how hard he might have hit.
Yeah, good job on his part, keeping it down there onto the apron. He's going to get it slowed down onto the pit road. He's probably going to have to get some wheel damage there repaired, but it looks like we are going to stay green here. Looking here at the 1 car of Gary Bergeron, who's slowly losing time there to the 69 of Todd Perron as he pulls up on the first victim of lap traffic, the 48 car of Dad Dinda, running in place of Max Dinda. Let's see if Todd is able to cleanly get past his first lap car. Now, one thing that's important to pay attention to, if Todd is able to clear this 48 car, which it looks like he is here in 3 and 4, this is going to put Dad Dinda, the first car, 1 lap down. So now Ryan Godfrey in that 6 car is going to have to be fighting back to catch that 48 machine to try to be the first car 1 lap down. Looking here at the 68 car of Tom Ringer. He ran down his teammate, the 56 of Mark Holloway, for the third place position, looking to complete this pass. Now, as a reminder, Tom did start from the rear end of the field. Looks like the 56 is going to let him go, realize that Tom has more speed than he can handle, and let Tom go and try to race down position number 2.
So here's my question. Tom did hit pit road in that first option. You think he might have took tires? But 3 laps of tires wouldn't make this much of a difference, right?
3 laps of tires would make a huge difference. Not necessarily. I mean, once you start getting into 10 laps, you're going to see a time fall off, but nobody's really going to be taking tires at 3 laps into the race. He may have had a little bit of damage, may have wanted to top up on fuel. Looking here at the cockpit view of the 68 car, you can see that one car, Gary Bergeron. Nope, sorry, that is lap traffic. Disregard.
But it's good that they're getting through the lap traffic cleanly. Now, again, like you said, the 6 car, he has to get around to get towards these lap traffic guys, because if he wants to get back on the lead lap, he needs to be that first car lap down, because staying out to take a wave around when a caution happens is not really an option here.
Yeah, and it looks like our leader, the 69 of Todd Perrant, has now caught his next victim, the 54 of Tyler Waltz, with the 20 of Marcus Wisnu. Oh, looks like we got some smoke there. We got a car around there on the backstretch. Looks like the 63 of Craig Knoll.
He was stopped right in the middle of the track, but he did the right thing, and he held his brake pedal. He did not move. He was not going to get in the way and affect the race.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get a replay spun up here for the 63 of Craig Knoll. I have a feeling we're going to see victim number 3 of turn number 2.
So he gets in there, he's on the bottom side, clips kind of the apron, and then just on the throttle too soon. And he whips it around. He actually doesn't really touch anything. Nope, touches the outside wall.
Hopefully not too much damage there. It looks like nobody else was involved. Our leaders got past unscathed. This is going to shake things up a little bit. We are now almost 60 laps into this run. I expect to see some cars coming down here for tires. It looks like Dad Dinda in the 48 car is going to be our lucky dog candidate.
Which now Ryan Godfrey has to hope on another caution to be able to come back into this. As we see a lot of guys hitting pit road, but I see a lot of guys who should have hit pit road still on track.
Looking at the 6 car of Ryan Godfrey, who you just brought up, is now currently 3 laps down. You have the 63 of Craig Knoll, who's involved in that recent incident, is 2 laps down. 57 of Chris Wagner is also 2 laps down. And then you got your only car 1 lap down, the 59 of Matthew Tennant.
They must have started green lap pit stops. That could be the only explanation, because, Chris Wagner was a front guy. He was around the P5 position.
I think what we saw, so I think there was a incident with the 59 car. He was running up in, I think, the 6th place position. We did see some smoke on the track. I wasn't able to locate where it was, but I have a feeling it was the 59 car that had possibly looped it around.
Well, that's a lot of cars a lap down, I mean, it's not really a lot. It's 4, but it's some competitive guy. Oh, what is going on there? What just happened?
We were checking out a quick little replay, see if we could figure out anything.
Well, we should get a replay of what just happened under caution just now. Something went on with the 68.
Look at the 68 of Tom Ringer. It looks like there was an incident involved with the 68 of Tom Ringer, the 69 of Todd Perrant, and the 1 of Gary Bergeron.
Looked like something went on and caused him to just not be able to deal with anything, and he flew up there and slapped his teammate in the side.
Yeah, I think the 68 has some significant engine damage from that. 69 is going to have some front end damage from that. Looks like the 1 got around unscathed. Not for sure what happened here.
Me neither. This is a weird one. Looks like the 4 even has damage on his front end too now. As the leaders come to take the green flag, 20 car did stay out. He has on old tires. Yeah, we're going to have to kind of keep an eye on all these guys. As the 20 is currently leading away, and he is trying to battle and hold off Todd Perrant, but Todd Perrant's going to get to that outside.
Todd Perrant is going to reclaim first place position from the 20 car. The 1 car is going to follow him around. The 4 car is going to go high. I think the 20 is slowly starting to realize those old tires may have not been the best decision for this restart here.
No, he's stacking up people.
28 to 63, a little bit of contact. 23 goes up high into the wall. 68 is going to secure the position. Now looking to the outside of the 20 car, Marcus Wisniewski. That 20 car, oh, car in the wall inside. Looks like the 6 car of Ryan Godfrey. He was a victim of turn number 2 to bring out our first caution. Looks like he was a victim again here on lap 59.
The unfortunate part is this time it doesn't bring out a caution. And as we watch, the 20 car, he's going backwards, He has lost so many positions.
For our viewers out there that are rooting for the 48 car of Max Dinda, Max Dinda is now back in the seat. Dad Dinda got him here through the first 60 laps. Max going to look to close it out here on the next 100.
Stiff competition out there, so he's going to have to really pay attention to what he's doing and work his way through the field.
He was able to get his lap back on that last caution. The 48 car was the lucky dog candidate. But you are correct. He does have quite a bit of way to go to make it back up there to the front.
I think that damage might have had an issue to the 68 as he's now let the 4 Chuck Burley by. And then he's got Thomas Long breathing down his neck. Thomas Long also running that real high line, so...
Looking throughout our field here, it looks like these guys are staying a little more closer together on this one. You have the 69 and Todd Perrant in the lead. About a 0.4 of a second gap to the 1 car, Gary Bergeron in second. Chuck Burley, the Rat Fink driver, sitting in fourth.
23 just went spinning. Sorry for the interruption. 23 went spinning down the back straightaway. And he was able to gather it back up.
Looking here at the replay, let's see what happens to the 23 car of Thomas Long.
Looks like bit by that turn too, but miraculously keeps it out of every single wall.
And we got a Cobra sitting out here on the racetrack with all these guys under attack on the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, that corner is reaching out and biting people bad. I mean, you're seeing people snap loose all over the place. And, Gary Bergeron's in a very interesting position as well, by the way. He is still rounded by teammates, but he is wanting to get back up there, get back to that lead, and he's actually running a bit higher than Todd Perrant is now.
Yeah, I mean, you got Rat Fink drivers in 1, 3, and 4. Gary Bergeron, who's a free agent at the moment for position number 2. Looks like these top 4 have really checked out. I mean, from 4th place back to 5th place, you got a 3-second gap. These guys are all right here tight together trying to battle it out.
Now, once we get the tire wear going, let's see how it works out then, because once they start feeling their tires going bad and having to change lines, that's when we start to see them separate. It's like, we watched the 57. He started dropping back, got caught by Tom Ringer. Gary Bergeron ended up falling back a little over a second from Todd Perrant.
Yeah, the 1 car is definitely getting a run here on the 69. You're going to see him kind of stay to the high side, try to pull a run here onto the front stretch. At the 69 running that same line, throwing the dirty air, I don't think he's going to get as good of a run as he had hoped.
Yeah, he's going to have to just kind of size him up. Like how you said in the beginning, he can't plan to pass him on the current lap. He's got to look ahead a couple laps to figure out how to get around that car. So he's definitely probably just sizing him right now and trying to figure out where he can go to get around him.
Oh, 69 clipped the wall there on the exit of turn number 4. The 1 car is going to clear him there on the inside easily. It's going to allow the 4 car to pull up to his back bumper.
It's exactly what Gary needed. That made the pass a little easier. Now he's going to take over the lead, and he's going to try and put a little bit of gap because his tires did seem to wear a bit faster than the 69 on the last run. So he definitely wants to get a gap before he starts losing it, you know?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, these front 4 cars have checked out from the rest of the field.
You know, over the last 2 weeks, Gary Bergeron has just kind of had a fire lit under him. He's been up there battling towards the front in almost every race we've had in the last couple weeks. So it's really awesome to watch him out there running. Pretty interesting to see that, you know, someone's taking that fight to some of the dominant guys out there, some of the strong guys out there. So it's real nice watching him.
Yeah, you know, I really enjoy racing with Gary Bergeron. He's been a really good addition to the DES iRacing program. I was racing him out here last weekend at in the Xfinity cars here at Rockingham, and you know, we had a 20 or 25 lap battle for the 3rd place position, man, and it was just awesome racing coming out of that 1 car.
And he always does it clean. He's always nice, you know. He does not want to run anybody off the track. So it's nice to see him out there having a good run. As Todd Perront has pulled up to his back bumper, while at the same time, we've got a 5-way battle back here for, it looks like it's just for P5, but there's 5 cars up there fighting.
Yeah, we're looking at the 3 car of Sean Dion, the 56 of Mark Holloway following him in suit. 23 of Thomas Long up there, the 48 of Max Dinda, and the 57 of Chris Wagner battling it out here. You could throw a blanket under these guys and they'd all be covered.
And there's 3 guys with in that group of 5 who have been up into the top, you know, 3 almost essentially have been in podium position. So they know how to get around this track. So it's an interesting fight back there. As also those front 4 cars are actually catching a lap car right now. And it's going to be Marcus Wisniewski, who stayed out on those old tires. It looks like he's going to go down a lap now as he hits pit road.
Yeah, green flag stops. I expect him to lose more than a singular lap. We'll probably see him go at least 2 laps down, maybe 3.
I think he was betting on a caution to come a lot sooner, because if one came sooner, he could hit pit road. These guys probably would have stayed out because they would have only had about 15 or so laps on their tires, and he would have had the freshest tires on track. But it looks like that plan did not work out for him.
Looking back here at our lead lap, you got the 1 lead pack. Sorry, you got the 1 of Gary Bergeron leading the way at the 69 of Todd Perront in position number 2. The 4 car of Chuck Burley in 3rd, and the 68 of Tom Ringer rounding out your top 4, who currently have a 5-second gap over position number 5, the 3 of Sean Dion.
Yeah, these guys have pretty much checked out on the field, you know, as Thomas Long is battling the 3 car. He's looking to get underneath him, but they are just showing how strong they are. They have checked out.
A little bit of contact there on the exit of 2. Looks like the 23 may have washed up a little bit. Looks like everybody's going to keep it straight. 3 car is going to secure the position. The 56 is going to get to the outside of the 23. 48 looking to follow in suit.
Now, one thing that these leaders can't get
too 3 wide.
Oh, that's not going to end well. Oh, and it does. Look at those guys. Oh, 48 gets loose.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but 3 wide at the Rockingham, you don't typically see that very much.
That was worth it. You know, that was a beautiful situation going on right there.
I think the 48 car said, I'm tired of being at the back of this pack. I want to get up here to the front. As he's loose again off turn number 2. 56 loose hard into the wall. 23 is going to slice it up, secure both those positions.
Looks like the 56 got scared into the wall by Max getting loose. You know, nobody ever wants to see that next to them, a car snapping and spinning back towards the wall. But Max caught it, and he freaked out and hit that wall.
48 loose again off of turn number 2. Man, turn 2 is just a killer tonight for these guys.
He's been loose off that corner 3 laps in a row, so I think he's burning up some tires As also towards the front, Todd Perrant has caught Gary Bergeron again, but can't seem to make the pass. It's like once you get near that car's rear bumper, you just kind of hit a wall. It's that air. So as you see, he gets up towards him, and then he just can't do anything with it. He's just kind of stuck there. And then even when they go into 3 and 4, they're both going to run that high line and, you know, nowhere to go. He's just stuck right behind him.
Yeah, what's difficult to do when the one car is going to take away your preferred lane. So they're both running center to high lane, trying to get that momentum off a corner. I think the 69 is going to have to try something different here other than what the one's doing to try to gain this ground.
And you know, one thing I was going to say is these guys in this front pack do have to remember, Tom Ringer ran them down from a big gap like what they have over the next group. But if you look back at that next group again, they're still sliding and dicing all around. So I don't think they're going to be able to run them down. They actually are probably losing time. They are losing time to the lead lap group with this hard battle going on. And all it's doing is destroying their tires more.
Yeah, 48's trying to get that bottom line to work to clear the pass on the 23. And this is, loose again. And he's around. We got a single car spin. Let's see if he can keep it off the track. The yellow flag is going to come out for the 48 car of Max Dinda.
And that was kind of what was building. You know, he was pushing that car hard. He wanted to get around these people. He wanted to get towards the front. Just superheated those tires. And finally, they just did not have the grip to save him.
Now, we got about 25 laps, 30 laps here on these tires. What are we looking like for pit strategies? You think we're going to see some tire takers?
I think especially in that back group, we're going to have tires takers. The front group, possibly. And it looks like they are going to, in fact, choose to pit. But, yeah, that back group, they definitely all needed it. They were fighting way too hard.
And it looks like the 59 car of Matthew Tennant is going to be your lucky dog candidate.
That's going to help him out a lot. He has a lot of speed here at the Rockingham, too, so he definitely wants to be on the lead lap and get back up there towards these guys. As the 4 car actually misses his pit stall, has to reverse. That might cost him some time. I don't know if it's going to cost him a position because they had a major gap on the next couple of cars. Looks like the 1 beats the 69 out, but the 69 was trying his hardest spinning those tires.
Then you got the 68 of Tom Ringer, the 4 of Chuck Burley, and the 3 of Sean Dion to win your race off pit road.
You know, this is way more tamed of a Rockingham race than I was expecting. You know, I was expecting a lot of quick cautions in the beginning before we got a long green flag run, but we are just past halfway, and we've only had 2 cautions. So I think that's pretty great, pretty good work on these guys.
It looks like we're going to go double file here. Lights on the pace car are off. You have the 1 car of Gary Bergeron sitting in first, the 69 of Todd Perrant in second, 68 of Tom Ringer in third, 4 of Chuck Burley in fourth, and the 3 of Sean Dion to round out your top 5.
So these guys are getting lined up already. You know, Gary Bergeron, he's going to want to sail off on Todd Perrant again. Those 2 have been the class of the field. There's been 4 lead changes. Only 1 other car has led a lap outside of these 2, and it was off pit strategy. But these guys have been up here racing towards the front. Neither of them have fallen back past P2. The entire race, their highest is P1, their lowest is P2, outside of that one where Wisniewski was leading.
69 is going to get a big jump here onto the outside. He's easily going to clear the 1. Looks like the 1 may have missed a shift or started in the wrong gear there, as he's now going to risk of losing position number 2 to the 4 car, Chuck Burley.
He gets a little loose off of exit of 2, but he's able to gather it up and stay in front of the 4. So he's going to be looking to get back to Todd Perront, get back to his bumper. Todd's going to be doing everything he can to make sure he doesn't have the same issue last time and tap the wall, allowing the one to get back by him.
You got a new contender here for the top 5. The 48 car who had that last spin is now... Oh, Tom Ringer hard into the wall there on the outside. Max is going to clear him on the inside. 23 of Thomas Long to the inside.
Yeah, I think Tom's little front end damage from that weird fluke of a moment may have snapped out and bit him there, because he hasn't been as fast since that moment. You know, he's been kind of trying to make sure to take care of his equipment, but that wall slap is not going to do him any favors.
Yeah, let's just hope he averted the wheel damage. If he's able to avert the wheel damage, he'll be able to save those tires. Any sort of wheel damage will progress how fast those tires are going to burn off.
The 48 is trying to throw it underneath under the 4. Now he's going to have to be careful. These guys have been the front... Oh, 23 into the wall. These guys have been the front runners for a long time. They know how to get around this track, so he's got to do it carefully. This is where paying attention and sizing up for the next couple laps comes in handy as he runs in the tire tracks of the 4.
Yeah, our top 6 has broken away into a bit of a pack here. You got about a half a 10-second gap. Oh, car loose into the wall.
Into the wall, hard. That's going to be a caution.
Looking like the 54 of Tyler Waltz is extremely off pace back there. Let's see if this is Tyler.
I think whoever was in this caution, I think it was Tyler, didn't collect a single car too. Snaps back, hits the wall. No one touched him. That's insane.
He's going to have some massive right front damage from that.
Yeah, I think he knocked the wheel off that machine. It's going to be real hard to get that thing down pit road. They do have one faster there.
We're going to step away to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Red Bull gives you wings. Red Bull gives you wings. Red Bull gives you wings.
And welcome back after that quick commercial break. The lights on the pace car are off. You got the 69 of Todd Perront back in first place position. The 1 of Gary Bergeron to his outside. The 4 of Chuck Burley in third. And a new contender, the 48 of Max Dinda, starting in fourth. 23 of Thomas Long to round out your top 5.
Yeah, Gary's going to have to figure out these restarts because that's what's killing him right now. He's got the pace to stay in front of Tom. He just got to get the restart right.
And the green flag is out. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, the 69 gets a good jump there on the 1 car. The 1 kind of drags back a little bit. 48 to his bumper. We've now got a pack of 3. 48's going to roll to the outside, see if he can clear him on the exit of turn number 2.
Oh, he scrapes the wall. Does it twice. That's going to allow the one car to get right back in front of him. But the 48 is on that high line, so he might sail around him here.
48 with a massive run. 69 is going to block that high lane and force Max to check up a little bit.
Oh, we missed something. 23 went around while running in the... there's 2 cars involved, actually. This should be a caution. Multiple cars involved. Yeah, it all starts with the 23. So when we get the replay, let's take a look at him and see exactly what happened.
Turn 2, strikes again.
Got the 56 involved, and he's still sliding around. Then the 6 comes through and gets hit. That was a dirty one right there, man. That's unfortunate for Thomas Long and the 6 because he had just cycled through to being, I believe he was 1 lap down. Now he's 2 again.
Good job on the rest of those cars recognizing that, trying to stay out of the way. Unfortunate that the 6 got involved. The 23 just battling that car back and forth.
It's unfortunate 56 also involved. He's been a constant threat in the top 5, and he gets collected in that.
57 of Chris Wagner is going to be your lucky dog candidate.
It's going to put him back on the lead lap. Tom Ringer, he hit pit road last caution. Looks like he's going to be hitting it again. I think he's working on that damage he had, trying to get that repaired.
So back to Chris Wagner, that will put him 1 lap down. We currently have no cars 1 lap down, aside from Chris Wagner.
That's kind of a good benefit for him because, again, he was up towards the front. So he's definitely going to be trying to get back up there once he gets this next lap back, if there's another caution.
This is going to shake things up a little bit. We have some guys who've been running pretty consistent up there in the top 5 that have been involved in some incidents. They're going to fall to the back. We do currently have 9 cars on the lead lap, so I expect to see these guys using that to their full advantage.
Now, there are some notable names missing tonight, Brandon Hinton, he's not here. That's a notable name that I'm noticing is not here. He's our previous NextGen champion, so he's definitely trying to go 2 for 2. But if I remember correctly, he's at Indianapolis watching the Indy cars on practice.
Yep, they got the Indianapolis road course this weekend, the Indianapolis 500 coming up on Memorial Day. Looking forward to watching that.
That and the Coke 600 are going down, so definitely going to be a fun time.
Pace car pulls off. 69 leads us to the green flag. Big jump with the 48 right behind him. 1 of Gary Bergeron. Once again, massive stack up. 4 into the rear bumper of the 1. Going to stack up that outside lane a lot.
Gary just cannot get the restarts down. He's just kind of, every time, can't move.
Part of me's thinking he might be blowing the tires off of it as we have a new race leader. The 48 of Max Dinda gets around the 69 of Todd Perrant.
Yeah, he went up there and he took that lead, but, he has been, we've already seen it, he burns his tires quickly, so he's just looking to get as many laps led here. Hopefully caution comes out that can protect him, but we have noticed he burns up his tires fast. And I don't know if Gary's got burnt up tires. It seems like every time on the restart, he goes and then he stops. And I just don't understand it. It's like, I don't think he's missing a shift every time. But I also don't think he's spinning tires every time. So it's a little confusing.
Maybe he got a new H pattern and is trying to get it figured out. Who knows?
Yeah, it could be something like that, but you know, we know he's strong and he's a good competitor, so he should be looking to get back up there as he's back behind the 69. The only problem is there's a new race leader.
Yeah,
Ford
the
diving to the inside.
48 car is now pulled off to almost 0.8 of a second gap over the 69. You think he's pushing a little too hard, a little too quick here?
Oh, I definitely think he's pushing too hard. It's the same as when he was back towards that other group, went about 20 laps, and then he was sliding all over the place. So he's extending that gap, but I don't think it's going to stay that way for a while.
Yeah, I look to see these guys being able to make it here to the end of the race on this set of tires and fuel if it were to stay green. You can make it 60 laps. It might get a little unfavorable there towards like lap 40 or 50 or so.
Yeah, that's when the true tire saving comes into play, because you are right. They can make it all the way on this last set of tires. But if you eat them up too bad, you're going to be chased down. So these guys are looking to capitalize the best they can, as we got another group of cars battling again. Tom Ringer right in the middle of that. He took a couple trips down pit road trying to get his car right.
Looks like he might still have a little bit of front end damage there, but it looks like he might be able to clear the 3 of Sean Dion through 3 and 4. Nope. 3's going to get a big run there on the outside and keep it. Nope.
Looks like he did, in fact, get him, even though behind him, Mark Holloway, he got into the wall off exit of turn 2. He's got a lot of front end damage, too. A lot of cars with some front end damage right now. It's like you said, that rattlesnake out there on turn 2 is really kicking people around this track.
Speaking of being out here and racing with us, if you're interested in getting on the track with us, head on over to racedescom to get out here, get in the Discord, get out here on track with us. We run the ARCA series on Wednesday nights, the NextGens on Fridays. We run 2 truck series, a Legacy and a Premier series on Fridays, and the Xfinity class on Sundays. So if you're interested in racing out here with us, head on over to racedescom. Hop in a Discord, chat with us, and get on the track with us.
And it is good fun racing. I know the trucks, Legacy trucks will be here at Rockingham tomorrow. Premier will be at, I believe, Vegas. And then Xfinity will be at Charlotte. So it's going to be some good racing throughout this weekend. I'm not looking forward to the Legacy truck race. Like I said, I'm bad at tires. But the Xfinity race, I'm excited for.
Yeah, I think this weekend all around, we've got a really good schedule. You know, start leading off the week with Rockingham. Rockingham's always a fun track. It's a little difficult, especially here in these next-gen cars. These guys are seeming to make it work out pretty well.
As Tom Ringer's pulling up to the back of the 4, it looks like Max is starting to fade now.
A little bit of contact there with the 3 and the 59.
Yeah, they're getting a little dicey back there, but it does look like Max is starting to fade. Those tires might have finally caught up to him, because he's only got a 10th over Todd Perrant, which has also allowed Gary to catch up as well. They're all less than a second, and then a little over a second behind him is Chuck Burley and Tom Ringer right there.
Now, how this one plays out is going to depend, you know, who's going to get this position. If the 1 and the 69 start racing here, expect to see the 45 drive or 48 drive away again. If they pass them one by one, they'll typically maintain their spots in a relatively close gap.
Yeah, I think they're getting a little too close to each other, and it's allowed the 48 to kind of get a little bit of breathing room. If they get too close to each other, it's going to be an issue, but at the same time, they can't be too patient, because look who's pulling up to them as well. The 4 and the 68, they're getting there fast.
We are now closing in on lap 114 of 160. You've got about 45 laps to go. When do you think these guys start pushing to battle it out here for the lead? Or do you think it's already begun?
I think they're still in consistency mode. They're still trying to maintain their tires right now, but coming to about 25-ish to go, that's when you're going to start seeing guys push a little harder.
These guys do have roughly 30 laps on the set of tires they're running on right now. So I think they'll be good to the end on fuel. It might be kind of close, but will these tires last long enough for these guys to make it to the end of the race if it stays green?
I think Max was kind of laying back trying to preserve his stuff, but he might be pushing again because he's got a little bit more breathing room, but at the same time, he's not really going anywhere from them. He's maintaining about 2 to 3 tenths over Todd Perron.
Yeah, if you watch Max, I mean, he's kind of running the same line I was talking about earlier. He's sticking to the bottom through 1 and 2, and then he's running the middle lane through 3 and 4. Nope, this one he goes to the middle.
And you know what's making this even more interesting? Matthew Tennant in the 59 is starting to close in on this group too. So do you think Max might be holding them up a bit? Or do you think that they're all just really conserving their tires?
I mean, I think as soon as a car starts to go side by side and they start trying to make passes, it is going to start slowing both the momentum and allowing those guys to start stacking up behind them.
Yeah, because Matthew Tennant, he is closing the gap. He's about to crack that threshold and be less than a second off the leader, which will put 6 cars right there within the same second. But at the same time, you've got Thomas Long, Sean Dion back there with Mark Holloway. They're in a little group too, and they're trying to just maintain their equipment as well.
48 has pulled off to a bit of a gap here, about a 4 tenths of a second gap to the 69 car of Todd Perrant.
He has a bit of a lower exit on turn 4 than the rest of these guys. So I think he might be trying to conserve as hard as he can, but he's also worried about those cars because once you lose a position here, it's hard to get it back. The only way they probably would get it back is if you beat him on green flag pit stops. Is Gary Bergeron going to the inside of the 69?
Doesn't look like he's going to be able to get it to stick there on the bottom. 69 is going to roll the top and maintain that position. As these guys start to race, look for that 48 car to start driving away.
You know, he's watching that in his rearview mirror. He wants them to get to fighting because he knows that's going to cost them tires. Oh, he touched the wall a little bit, but he knows that that's going to cost them on tires and that's going to cost them on time. So that's what he really wants to see is them getting to fighting.
Now out to a 2-second gap. He knocked off 2 tenths right there with that little bit of contact to the wall. Let's see if he's able to pull up to his back bumper here off the exit of turn number 2.
He's sticking to a bit of a lower line than all these guys behind him. So, you know, he might be trying to just protect himself a little bit by running a little lower on the line, not overheating his tires on those higher lines, and just trying to maintain gap at this point.
68 of Tom Ringer looking to get a fender underneath the 1 car of Gary Bergeron for the position number 3. Looks like he's going to, the 1 gets a little bit loose there on the exit of 2. They're going to be side by side going in here into turn number 3.
Gary's in a good spot. He's on the outside. He's got to carry that momentum or he could lose that position to Tom Ringer. And he is able to carry the momentum and maintain that position. But look how that allowed Todd to get a little bit of gap on them and move away because they were right on his rear bumper.
Like I said, it's all about timing your passes and using them to your benefit. The harder you race somebody, the more the cars in front of you are going to pull away and behind you are going to pull up to you.
That is very true. As Chuck Burley has fallen out of that second gap, but he's got Matthew Tennant right there on him. So Todd's going to be looking to go after the 48 again.
Where we're running out here right now, Edwin, where do you think you'd want to be?
I want to be where Todd's at because he's kind of in the best spot. He doesn't have to push too hard. He just has to maintain his position near the 48. Now, if he gets close to the 48, yes, the 48's going to start pushing. So he just got to keep getting his nose near him, making Max start pushing, burn up his tires a little bit more, and then line him up and he can get around him. Where would you like to be?
I'd have to agree with you on that. You know, the 48 is setting the pace of the race, but the 69 is controlling the 48's pace. So exactly what you said. So he starts to pull up on him. He can force that 48 car to push a little harder. If he just, you know, fakes out to attempt a pass, right, just shows his nose to the inside, he's going to cause that 48 to kind of get in the throttle a little bit quicker to hold that position. So I'd have to agree with you on that.
Yeah, Todd is probably in the best spot possible. Now, that's not to say that other people right behind him aren't in good spots too, because, what if Todd can't make the pass on the 48 fast? What if it takes him a few laps? Well, then Gary Bergeron's in the best spot because those two are going to be burning up their tires. And then if Gary Bergeron can't get around them, then, Tom Ringer and Chuck Burley become to be in the best spot. And then, all in all, if all five of them get to fighting hard, burning up their equipment, Matthew Tennant is in the perfect spot. But as of right now, Todd Perron's got that locked down.
Todd's going to have a bit of a bobble there in turns 1 and 2. Looks like the one car is going to fall back a little bit. These guys are all sitting within about a second gap for your 1st through 5th place position.
Yeah, they're out there fighting, kind of hard, not too crazy hard. They're all just trying to maintain their position because you can't go forward if you end up going back. So they're all trying to make sure they don't lose a position as well.
We're coming to 30 to go. So if we have any more green flag pit stops that need to cycle through, I expect to see those start happening here soon.
The question becomes now is, do you pit or do you not now, though? Because if Max pits and the rest stay out, he cost himself this race. If any of those top 6 right there hit pit road, as it looks like something's going on with Tom Ringer. It looked like he may have gotten into the wall a little bit, and he's going to lose 2 positions.
Or back behind door number 3 is these guys can make it to the end, and they're going to try to push it 90 laps on a set of tires.
So many options, 3 different strategies that could possibly happen, and it all kind of really revolves around the leader. The leader pits, they all stay out. If they all pit, the leader has a chance to stay out and possibly still win. But at the same time, 90 laps on your tires, that's a tough task.
Yeah, they're not going to have any tire left if they run it out that far. The 69 is holding pretty close here with the 48 car. Then you got the 1 and the 4 sitting pretty close together. And then you got Matthew Tennant and Tom Ringer back there in 5th and 6th holding pretty close together.
Yeah, they're starting to spread out now. Finally, it looks like the tire attrition is starting to catch up to people. And it looked like the first person to get bit by it may have been Tom Ringer. And then now Gary, he's starting to feel it as he's watching that 69 and 48 drive away from him.
69 with a big run to the back of the 48. Let's see if he's able to make anything happen here in the front stretch.
One thing I'm noticing about the 48 is he can tell that 69 has a little bit better tires. So every now and then he just washes up right there. You see it? He just pulls up, takes away his line. And that's kind of going to be something he needs to do, is force him to find a way around you. You can't just give it to him. So he's going to keep doing that. Every chance he gets, he's going to get up there and take that line as the 4 actually gets around Gary right now.
I think we're starting to see tire attrition come into the play. Let's see who saved their tires the best and who's going to have tires for the end of this race.
Yeah, they're fighting hard up there. Now the new competitor is the 4 car. So let's see if his tires are better than even his teammates as he sails it in on the inside. And that's going to allow the 48 to get a gap at seeing those two get side by side. But now the 4 sets its sights on the 48.
Those guys are all some teammates out there, so I wonder if these guys are saying, hey, I think I've got the tires to push. Okay, let's go ahead and go around and see what you got.
Yeah, he's probably letting him know, yeah, man, if you got the better tires, go ahead and see what you can do with it. And he's letting him get out there and fight for that win, as he is actually pulling away from Todd Perron and casually catching Max as well.
Down to 0.3 of a second. Going to be 0.2 of a second this lap. He is running him down.
I think he might have been the guy. He might have been the sleeper in this race. Chuck Burley might have saved his tires the best, but it looks like Max is still beating him. And 1 and 2 is Max and Chuck Burley scrubbed the wall right there. Tom Ringer has dropped off quite a bit from these guys. He does have damage, I will admit that, but I think he just used up his tires quicker than these guys.
Yeah, he's going to fall back to about a 3.3 second deficit over Max Dinda. Max and Chuck are just sitting here toying. You know, Chuck will pull up to his rear bumper, get him within a couple tenths, and then Max will just drive back out to 6 tenths, and then Chuck will reel him back in. That's just their consecutive cat and mouse games throughout these closing laps.
He's been playing that cat and mouse game with everybody to get in the P2. He lets them get up there and then he drives away. But then again, you know, when you're the P2 guy, you're kind of controlling his pace. And I know they're hoping that he's burnt off more of his tires, but maybe Max has actually saved them quite well.
These guys now have 57 laps on their tires, coming to 16 to go. It's go time now. If they got anything left in them, now's the time to use them.
Yeah, now's the time to put that pedal to the metal and start running your fast times. So let's look and see if any of them have anything for anybody. As Todd Perrant, Chuck Burley, they are coming back in contact with each other. Gary is now getting up here. Matthew Tennant is he's still hanging out with those guys right there.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if this one stays green all the way out. If the 4 car is going to have enough to run back down the 48, as the 48 now has a 0.8 of a second gap over the second place of Chuck Burley.
Looks like Chuck Burley is he might have kicked it into gears. He's pulled away from Todd Perrant now, and he might be trying to do it. You know, honestly, what I'm thinking is Chuck Burley might need to move his line up a bit more. The momentum on exit from that high line, it does pay dividends. You know, it can help you out in situations like this.
Yeah, I think we're just seeing a lot of tire fall off here. And kind of interesting to see that the 48 still has that much in him. You know, he pushed really hard on the start of this at you know, after he came off that caution and cycled through. So
as he is catching lap traffic and he's already come on the radio, please don't battle me. But, you know, those guys are in fights of their own, trying to maintain position, trying to do what they can. But as you can see, some of them are already starting to pull down. They don't want to be in the way. They want to allow these guys to race.
we got a 0.7 of a second gap between P1 and P2. Closing in on 12 laps to go.
And he's coming up to the 56 now. And then also you've got Chris Wagner in front of him, 2 lap traffic cars. So let's see what lines they run. Looks like Mark Holloway's going to stay up high. He's even going to scrub the wall to stay out of the way of the leaders.
Chuck to get down to 0.5 of a second. He pulled 0.2 on that lap. Let's see if he can keep it closing.
Yeah, he's gonna have to. He's gonna have to keep going, because the moment he lets up, he's gonna seal the deal for Max. So he is definitely driving as hard as he can, but within regard, he does not want to burn up his tires.
The lap traffic pulling down off the racing surface to allow these leaders as much room as they need to finish out these closing laps.
And, you know, I'm surprised that the leaders spread out. I mean, there was a while there where 6 cars were right on top of each other, but you've got Matthew Tennant has moved into the P4 position, as well as Todd Perrant. He's still holding strong in that P3, but as you can see, Tom Ringer has fallen to 7 seconds behind now. So, you know, those leaders, they finally separated.
Looking here at your top 3, have now pretty much checked out from the rest of the field. You got 0.8 back to Chuck Burley, and then you got another 0.7 back to the 3rd place of Todd Perrant. These guys are pretty much, if this stays green, your only contention to winning this race.
Yeah, it's looking like the saving grace for anybody else coming into contention would be a caution. And It doesn't look like we're going to get one as the 56 has just hit pit road, but it does not look like we're going to get any kind of caution from these guys.
As Max has now pulled out to 1 second gap over P2. Chuck is going the wrong way here.
Yeah, he's even fallen into the clutches of his teammate Todd Perront right now.
And we are now coming to 5 to go. Your current race leader, the 48 of Max Denda. P2, Chuck Burley in the 4 car. You got the 69 of Todd Perron in 3rd. Matthew Tennant, the 59 in 4th. And Gary Bergeron rounding out your top 5.
And, he's not even going to catch lap traffic. Actually, he is going to catch one more lap traffic car, but that I don't expect that car to get into the way, cause any kind of issues for them. And he's going to just going to let the 48 by. Oh, he taps the wall.
I think anything that Max had left in the tank, he is leaving it all on the track out here right now. 1.5 seconds back to P2.
Oh, yeah, he kicked it into high gear, and he is now in motion as the 3 car actually does not move out of the way on exit a corner for him. So now he's going to have to take him into entry into turn 3.
He's going to clear him there, lose about a 10th to the 2nd place car, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. 3 laps to go.
Hats off to Max for figuring out how to conserve his tires, because it looked like in that early incident where he spun that he hadn't sorted out how to save tires. But clearly, we were wrong. I was wrong, and he figured it out, and he knew exactly what to do. Maintained his tires. I thought that the 2nd place car was going to be, causing him to burn up more, but turns out he was actually backing them up intentionally to save his equipment.
69 of Todd Perront's going to get around his teammate, the 4 car Chuck Burley, for position number 2. Don't think there's going to be enough time for him to run down that 48 machine.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be a chance for that as the 48 car is lapping the 23. He has just sailed away from these guys, and it's honestly surprising because Todd Perront was putting on such a strong showing, so was Gary. And then these guys aren't even up here to put their nose in to try and win it.
And for the winner, the 48 car of Max Dinda, going to pull off into the infield, do a celebratory grass pass.
He actually let a car come back around to get back on the lead lap.
You got Todd Perront at 69 finishing in 2nd, the 4 car of Chuck Burley in 3rd, Matthew Tennant in P4, Gary Bergeron in 5th, Tom Ringer 6th, Thomas Long in that 23 machine in 7th. You got Sean Dion, Chris Wagner, Mark Holloway, Marcus Wisniewski, Tyler Waltz, Ryan Godfrey, and Craig Knoll.
That was an amazing race as we now have Chuck Burley, our P3 finisher, coming to join us. Chuck, how did that race feel for you?
It felt great. I was actually struggling at the end there, as you can see, burned up my tires trying to get to max, and then had that incident at the very beginning. I had to battle all the way back from the back, but it was a great race.
Yeah, we were wondering, it looked like, that Max may have burned up his tires, but he was backing them up to you guys. What was your strategy there? We saw you get around your teammate, the 69 of Todd Perront. Did you think you had enough left in the tank to get him, or what was your strategy there for those closing laps?
Yeah, it was almost like an on-off switch because I was catching him and then the switch went off and then I had nothing left. So I think we were even at that point, and then I was totally lost it there, last 5 to go. Then you saw Todd got back by around me. But yeah, didn't have anything for him at the end.
Well, congrats on the P3 finish, Chuck. Also, really love the paint scheme. I know you make those yourself. They look absolutely amazing. Congrats on P3 with front end damage, too. That was the cool part.
Yeah, there was on one of the restarts, somebody checked up and I didn't check up in time and I rear-ended somebody. I can't remember who it was, but I think that was from that incident. That might explain some of the issues I was having. Thanks for pointing that out.
Well, Chuck, congratulations on your third place finish here tonight, and good luck for the future of your season.
Thank you guys.
All right, we're going to move on to P2. It's going to be Mr. Todd Perrott. So we're going to get him in here and talk to him. Todd, how was the race?
It was great for a while. Did good. Had a good car tonight. So, us the teammates and everything with Ratfink did a lot of practicing during the week here. So, I guess it paid off.
Yeah, we were watching you out there, and for the longest time, you hadn't been below the second place position, other than when Marcus Wisniewski stayed out on older tires. So your strategy for the beginning part of the race seemed to really play into your favor. What was your lookout going towards the closing laps?
Well, I ended up letting Chuck by my teammate, so see if he can get a chance at Max. And I think he just burned his stuff up. So I don't know. I'm thinking now maybe I should have stayed there, and because I was thinking the whole time if I was going to do the old bump and run or not.
Yeah, Todd, you were strong out there, and bump and run's always on the table. And it was awesome watching you because once you took the lead from Gary, the only reason you ever lost it was when you tapped the wall that one time. But other than that, you were just having such a race. But maybe could you take us back to what happened under caution, that one incident? What went on there?
Oh, that's yeah, Tom. He was catching the field, and he said he was going to the left of us, and then his brakes locked up, and I think he just turned right, and luckily I didn't get much damage, so he clipped the left front of my car.
Yeah, we were wondering how much damage would have came out of that. I mean, overall, like an absolutely dominant race. I think the lowest you were at was in like the third place position. So it was awesome to see you finally get out there. It seemed like, was there a huge difference from running in clean air versus running behind somebody?
Yeah, I think so. Between that and just hard to pass. Um, every time I started getting out of my line, changing it up, Jerry would start catching me. So when I get low, so I think that's had a lot to do with it too.
Well, Tom, congrats on that good showing, finishing P2. You led 74 laps today, so you're going to have a lot of momentum carrying into tomorrow. You're going to be feeling good. So, congratulations, man.
All right, thanks guys. Thanks y'all broadcast.
Sir, congratulations, Todd. Let's go ahead and get our race winner for today here at Rockingham. We got the 48 of Max Denda. Max, how'd that race go for you tonight?
Good. Yeah, it was good. I had no practice before, so I didn't know how the car was gonna handle or anything. So
Yeah, we saw Dad Dinda out there running. He did go one lap down. It looks like right about the time you came back, he was getting the lucky dog back onto the lead lap. Was that the momentum that you needed? Was it difficult coming in here with no practice?
yeah, I took the first few laps easy. I pushed, spun out, so just a few mistakes, but I didn't really know how to save tires here, so I'm kind of surprised that I saved better than everybody else on the long run.
Yeah, Max, it was very interesting because at one time you had five cars lined up nose to tail right behind you, and the concern was that you may have potentially burned up your tires, or they were going to force you to burn up your tires. But it came to about 40 or so to go, and you just kicked it into some kind of high gear. Did it feel good on those old tires for you?
Yeah, I like the bottom. I think everybody else liked the top. So, when Todd was behind me, I was in these cars. You can aero block, and it will make their car tighter. So, I was moving up the track trying to do that. Yeah, it might have burnt his stuff up a little bit more. So I was probably driving in the mirror 50% of the lap. So I was looking in the mirror, not out front.
Yeah, we saw that incident happen out earlier. Did you start to think when you were starting from the rear of the field, Rockingham's such a difficult place to pass? Were you starting to be a little bit concerned about how difficult it would be to get back to the front?
Yeah, a little bit, but I knew I was faster than a lot of people on new tires, so I wasn't too worried about it.
Well, congratulations on the win, Max. It's one
I-
definitely worth celebrating.
I got one more thing. I got my dad here to be interviewed as well.
That's a first. Dad Dindo, how was the track for you?
Oh, it was pretty good. I mean, my goal when Max is working, he's coming home a little late, is just to keep the car clean, keep the tires on it, keep the fuel full. So, it kind of worked out for him tonight.
Yeah, that's what we noticed. You had kind of fallen a little bit off pace. You ended up going one lap down, cycled back to the lead lap, right as Max was coming back back over to take over the wheel. Is that how it intended to be, or is that just how it played out?
Yeah, no, I mean, I drive slow until the leaders get close, and then I pick up the pace a little bit, and that's about it. So, yeah, no, it was fun watching Max on YouTube.
Well, Dad Dindo, when can we expect to see you out there turning laps in your own car under your own name?
I think probably never, but I think Max should give me like Wednesday nights to let me learn how to do this.
Oh, that would be awesome. We could have you in the ARCA races. They are an absolute blast to do. So, yeah, Max should definitely do that, and we'll make sure we get Dad Dindo out there for the ARCA races.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Once again, Dad Dinda, Max Dinda race their way to the first place position. Edwin, that was an awesome race. We kept it clean for a lot of the race. You saw multiple different lines, people working through the difficulties of passing on this track, through the strategies. It was awesome to see this play out, how it did. What were your thoughts to wrap up this race?
Honestly, I was surprised about how clean it was. This track, Rockingham, is a very tough one, and it can reach out and bite you. And kind of halfway through, we started seeing that a lot more. People getting bit by that turn, too. So, all in all, it was a fun race. It was definitely a great one to watch, and I'm real happy I got to see it.
That's going to wrap up our broadcast here for tonight. You got Hunter Davis, myself, Edwin Warren. You got Damon producing. Y'all have a great night. Thanks for joining us.